Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. My name is Mark, and I am your host for today. And together with me is one of the Reader's Magnet featured authors that is here to share his journey as an author and share more about his book. Now, everyone, please help me welcome David C. Corbett. Hi, David. How are you today?
Doing very well, and how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, David. Now, I just want to thank you for attending our interview today. And we are very happy to have you here and very grateful that you chose our platform, Readers Magnet, to share your story with the world. And, personally, I'm really excited to know more about this book and your journey as an author. But before all of that, David, can you please introduce yourself to our audience right now?
Yes, well, as he said, my name's David Corbett. I use the author's name as David C. Corbett, mainly because there's another writer named David Corbett. Uh, I've written several books, but I enjoy writing. I wrote for magazines for several years on sailing because I sailed for 13 years down in the Bahamas. Then I wanted to write novels, and so I started writing novels. And Good Marines Murder is one of the latest ones I've written. It
Mhm.
is loosely based on an actual event. It's very loosely based on it, just an event that happened in the Marine Corps to a friend of mine. And it gave me an idea for the book. The book is about smuggling drugs uh, and some murder that's created. But the interesting thing about the book is that the murder actually takes place in the single seat jet, which is an AV-8 Harrier, which is the jump jet, at 10,000 feet, and it's a single seat. So how do you do the murder in a single seat jet? And The whole premise of the book, it's an investigation by another colonel, and he is the wing inspector, and he's assigned the investigation to find out what happened with the airplane. And pretty soon he finds out there's more to this crash than just a crash. There was something more wrong with the airplane than he just figured there might be. And so with information he's able to gather. And with the help of a very lovely young lady and a good friend,
Mhm.
he figures it out. To bring the culprit to make him obvious, we hope that as the reader reads the book, he won't figure it out. Um, until near the very end. How is he going to get this man to confess? He's got to put himself in a very strange situation.
Mhm.
And it involves flying, of course, because I was an aviator for 30 years and I flew jets. I flew the Harrier for 17 years. And I think it's a book that everybody can enjoy, particularly those that are interested in aviation. And it's a book that any teenager all the way through, an old man can enjoy in a day and just enjoy the read.
Wow, wow, that is a lot to discover. The book is really actually reminds me of a anime that I actually watch. It's a Detective Conan. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it is something like a murder mystery and like detective type of theme, and this
Well,
is actually reminding me of this that anime. And yeah, so I think your book is very it's funny because I was actually going to ask you a good Marines murder. I was about to ask you what's the reason behind this title, and then I think you've just explained it well. Now I just want to ask though if you have any inspiration of writing this book.
yes, I did a lot of research prior to
Mm-hmm.
writing the book because I had to come up with the idea of how to murder a man at 10,000 feet. And and you had to figure out how to make an airplane crash I've failed something in the airplane that would cause it to crash. And even though I had been flying the airplane for 17 years, I wasn't sure, quite sure how you could do that. And so I did a lot of research on various parts of the airplane. And
Mm,
I'm not going to tell you how it's done because that's part of the story. But I did do a lot of research to find out just how in the world you could do that. And there's two factors to it. Again, I can't tell you what they are because that would ruin the story for you.
that would
Uh,
spoil us.
but he has to figure out what those two factors are. And to do that, he has to get some help from an engineer. And
Mm,
that engineer happens to be the young lady in the book. And most all the novels that I have written has a little bit of love story in them too. You got to have a little bit of that as well, you know. And you got to keep the ladies happy as well, you know. So, so yes, it is. It is as you put it. It's got some detective work in it as well, and there involves another murder in it. While one of his crew um, and one of his investigating team, he ends up being put in the ground. Let's put it that way, because I don't want to ruin the
wow.
readers.
Mhm.
Don't want to ruin the readers. You know, tell them the whole story or anything. You know.
Yeah, 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 I understand. Now, I want to know, David, I actually can see it here on my data that you have been a Marine Corps, as what you've said earlier as well. What event in your life that made you decide that you want to write a book?
I've always enjoyed writing, and that
Mm-hmm.
all started in high school. Quite frankly, I was lucky enough to have a very, very good English teacher. His name was, well, I believe, Mr. Smith, John
Mm-hmm.
Smith, believe it or not. And I was never very good in English, but I had him for my junior and senior year, and he had us write a lot of papers, and he
Okay.
got me interested in writing. And then, of course, I went to college and joined the Marine Corps, and I didn't do much writing until I got into sailing. And I got a magazine that wanted an individual to write kind of funny stories. So I wrote a couple funny stories called I used this. It was the Adventures of Timothy Toefoot, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and Timothy was written by Sea Lord Sprayface, and he was. I'm sorry for the phone. The And it got me into writing again, and then I ended up
Mm-hmm.
writing for that magazine for about 7 years. Had my own
Mm-hmm.
column, and then the magazine went out of publication, and I just decided I had written for several magazines, Sail and
Mm-hmm.
Latitudes and Attitudes and that sort of thing. And I decided that I'd love to write a novel. And and I the first novel I wrote was called Children of the Earth. It has not been published.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I wrote another one. Then I wrote another one, and I just enjoyed writing. I love telling stories. And like I say, I've written six novels. Three are published.
Okay, wow, amazing. So you've had few books already. Now, David, I'm actually very curious. I think or I assume that these books or stories are original stories of yours. Now, I'm thinking, have you experienced any writer's block or have you experienced any struggles while writing? Can you please share some how you handle those things?
It's interesting you should ask that. Yes, one of the first books that I was published is called Shield of Atlantis. And it
Mm-hmm.
is a quasi science fiction with a world of flying in it because, like I say, I was an aviator. but
Mhm.
it takes place in space. And I had written, probably 250, 275 pages. And boom, I just got stopped. Just, it would not go any further.
Mhm.
And I went, oh man, what am I going to do? And I'd go out to my office and I'd sit there and I'd twiddle and I would play solitaire and I could not get the thing to do anything. And like most problems that I have with writing, I would dream. And I woke up 3 days later and I had this character in mind. And he was a little thing called, I ended up calling a utopodus. And I threw away 7 chapters, just threw them away. And I introduced this little character, and the book wrote itself from then on. I mean, I had more fun writing that book because that little character just, it made it so easy to write the story. And I couldn't wait to get up in the morning and see what my characters were going to do that day. And that was a fun book to write. That was a fun one to write. Yeah. But yes, I have
Okay.
experienced this sort of.
Okay, since you experience things like that, writer's block, right? What advice do you want to, share to other writers there that would experience, things like that, like a writer's block or creative creativity? What advice do you
Oh
want to
gosh,
share?
I think every writer is going to reach that point somewhere in a book or in a novel or whatever. Uh, and I think each writer is going to have to, he has each, or he or
Mm,
she, they have their own method of working through it.
mm,
There's just,
just have to
mine
believe in the
comes through
process, right?
dreams. I dream
All
in
right.
vivid color, and mine normally comes through a dream. It just happens there. Uh, and I'm sure there's other authors the same way, and some they
Mm,
just work it out. I don't know. I think everyone has a different way of doing it, but yeah, mine is weird. I know, but I'm a weird guy.
I don't think so because yeah, dreams can actually help us continue, and actually, dreams can give us inspiration to continue some things like writing book and inspiration in doing some creative things. Now, let's go back with your book, David. What do you want your readers to take away after reading your book, A Good Marine's Murder?
I hope once they've read it, I hope that they enjoy it for one thing, and I hope they want to have read something else of mine. That would be
Mm-hmm.
fun. Every book that I've written and people I've gotten, all the reviews of all my books have been very good.
Wow.
Um, and I think I want them to feel like they've read a good book
Mm-hmm.
and that they are satisfied that I ended it well and that it was, that they would look forward to reading something more of mine. And for the most part, I think that that's true. I've at least everyone I've talked to that's read my novels want to read the other books that I've read. And my first one I mentioned was Shield. That was supposed to have been a trilogy, and they're asking for the second book.
Wow.
They want the second book. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. And of course, like every author, I think I'd love to see it be a movie.
Wow.
Somebody,
And let's go for that. Yeah, manifest.
yeah. And I think that's the
Yeah.
main thing. I want people to enjoy it. That's what I think all writers want. They want. I mean, they don't claim to be or never wrote meant to be the great American author or anything. I just want people to enjoy my writing, my tale.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing for me.
Now, okay, got it, David. Now, I want to know though, what do you think makes a good book, David?
Hmm, that's an interesting question. I think a good book. I know a good book for me is one that I can pick up and it may, everybody says it's got to start off real good. I don't necessarily believe that, but I want to get into it. I want to believe the characters are real. I want to believe that this could actually be true, even in a
Mm-hmm.
science fiction. That yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this could happen, and if that's the case, then then I think I've got a good book. And then when I'm done with it, and put it down, going, wow, that was a good read. And it was one of some of Cleve Plesner's books, those what his first ones particularly. When you put that book down, you went. That was a good book, and that's what I really liked that, and that's what I hope people think about this. This was a
Reading
good
your
book.
book.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, actually, I think your book is one of those good books. The fact that you are actually receiving good reviews about the book means that your book is one of those good book.
I
Now,
hope so.
yeah, it does. Now, David, I think I have asked all of the questions, but there's one thing I have to ask you though. Is there anything that you want to promote us today, right now?
Well, yeah, I'd like to show them the cover.
Mm-hmm.
This
Can
is
you please?
kind of tough to show with this camera. That's the one that we're looking at, the Good Marines Murder,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on Amazon, and you can get it on Amazon, uh, Barnes and Noble, and I'd sure like for you to give it a try, and I think you'll enjoy it. And I'm not much of a self promoter, but I'm here matter of fact, I'm willing to take your questions. You get in touch with me and I'll talk to you about it. Tell you where I got my ideas. Yeah.
All
I
right.
like to talk to people. So
Okay,
yeah.
I can actually do that, David. Now, thank you so much for your time, David. We're so happy to have you here. Now, I think I have asked all the questions I prepared for you today, and this concludes our interview for today. Now, for the last time, can you please show the book again and maybe some of your books and promote and invite them to buy a copy again?
So let me tell you, the books are Shield of Lantis. And
Mm-hmm.
if you excuse me just one moment,
Sure, sure, sure. Okay, so that's David, the author of the book A Good Marine's Murder. And he is actually looking for his other books that he wants to promote to us today. And he actually have had, I think, 3 books published already, and these are the books. Okay, there you go.
apologize for not having them ready, but
Okay.
this is Shield of Lantis.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Okay.
is a very popular book called Abaco Gold, the Marla Connection. And the picture on that boat is the boat rather, that is on there is the boat that I actually sailed for 13 years in the Bahamas on. So I'm
Okay.
well
Wow.
familiar with the Bahamas as well. This takes place in the Bahamas. So, and again, these books can all be got bought off Amazon, Barnes and Noble, that sort of thing. And I do appreciate you allowing me to do that, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for that, David. So yes, everyone, that is David C. Corbett, the author of the book A Good Marine's Murder, and those other book. Again, I'm so sorry I was not able to the Shield of Lathias and the Gold.
Abaco Gold, the Marla
Uh,
Connection.
okay, there you go. So book is available. Those books are available on Amazon and Barnes Noble. Thank you so much, David C. Corbett. As we say it here at Readers Magnet, we share your story with the world. Bye, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you and bye. You take care now.
Bye.